I am so dehydrated. You know what's so interesting? I realized that I'm so witchy that I can tell when it's about to be a full moon without checking.
Is it a
Like
full
I've been,
moon?
yeah, because I was restless for the past 72 hours. I was like, ooh, my spirit, I'm overwhelmed
Child,
spiritually.
this
I
old
couldn't
Haitian
sleep.
grandma over here.
I'm
My
so
kneecaps,
serious.
my kneecaps hurting because it's raining, y'all.
Since
Ooh.
Saturday, I've been like, oh, why do I feel so restless? I'm overstimulated. And this morning, I literally, my eyes popped open at 5 a.m. and I was like, it's a fucking full moon. And I looked and I Googled full moon and it started 13 minutes earlier. That's how bad
I
it's
know.
gotten. I'm feeling the moon shift.
Mm,
And the funny thing is, it's not my Haitian side that I get my magic from, it's my Cuban side. I went
mm.
to a Haitian priestess and said, hey, sister, I'm one of you. She's like, no, you're not. Where else are you from? I said, he's like, my ancestors, they don't recognize you for shit. You guys are Catholic. It's very Christian. Where else are you from? And I said, well, my deadbeat daddy's Cuban. She's like, yeah, it's a century. It ain't got nothing to do with Haiti. So funny enough, I get none of my magic from Haiti.
She said, put that on somebody else,
She's like, yeah,
child.
that's not us. She was like,
Get somebody else to do
She's like, yeah.
it.
She was like, you ain't got nothing to do with us. What else you think? Espanol? So the funny thing is, of all the things my daddy gave me, he gave me hair, my ability to tan, no matter how black I am, and magic, testosterone
That's
and
something to be
magic.
grateful for.
That's all I got from that niggas, testosterone and magic.
Sounds well rounded to me.
Really? Because I really hate that I had to get laser because of that. I was fuzzy. Cubans are fuzzy, guys. I don't know if you know about
Oh
Latin Americans.
wow.
Yeah, it's a science thing where everything that is considered a stereotype of Latin Americans is tied to testosterone, anger, horniness, having lots of hair. That's all testosterone.
Mm.
Oh, yo, como va? All the Latinos are like, oh, I'm always like this. So if you are a bald headed Latino, you are atypical. Guys, it's so good to see your faces. I've had a day. I've had a day. We're gonna jump right into Thanksgiving because the holiday season is exhausting. Lulu, we're gonna start with you because Jeffrey, I feel like I already know your answer. We're gonna get to Jeffrey, obviously, but Lulu, how was your Thanksgiving? Because I feel like I was watching the Huxtables reboot. You were going to Hillman grad. You were with your 18 million cousins. It was all very wholesome. How was
It,
Detroit? Thanksgiving in Detroit.
it was lovely. Like my parents, they had everybody at their house. They had like 35, 40 people at their house. A
Jesus
bunch of my
wept.
cousins came into town. My cousin is the GM for the Lions, and I also am from Detroit. So they have a game on Thanksgiving Day every year. And every year for the most part they lose, but we still keep
Oh,
showing up.
ooh, we got awkward. Wait a minute.
I am ready to be hurt again.
Every year I watch my home team lose with my friends and family.
Right?
Woohoo! Oh, that got
But
dark towards the end.
it's still really fun. And like we always have a good time. And I love my family. Like they love shenanigans. They love, having people over, eating, drinking, laughing. So it really is a good, wholesome, drunk time.
Wholesome and drunk. That's Lulu. You are wholesome. Now, Jeffrey, how was your Thanksgiving? Because I feel like, I know
It
this
was
answer.
the it was the best day ever. I had the most take your time, leisurely Thanksgiving day ever. My
Yeah.
original Thanksgiving plans fell through because of a friend. They had to go visit a family member because they ended up getting feeling sick, so that kind of canceled the
Mm,
original plans. But I was like, you know what? I had other invites to go to, but I was like, I kind of don't want to do nothing. And
that's
so
real.
I legit like I had slept in. I didn't get out of bed till like 11 o'clock. I made a very abbreviated Thanksgiving menu, but with things that I knew wouldn't take all day preparation, things I knew I could just get done. I did laundry, I cleaned up, I did inventory, ordered things on Amazon. Y'all see these boxes back here, baby, Amazon,
You were shopping,
uh,
shopping.
did a little shopping, and then Blue had mentioned that because she was supposed to be out of town as well, that ended up not happening. So I said, "Come on over." And me and Blue, we spent Thanksgiving right over here. We
We had
ate,
a
we
kiki.
drank, and it was just chill. It was no. She walked in her sweatpants, and I said, "Thank you so much for showing up in your sweatpants and a bonnet." Yeah, I
I
said,
had a
"Thank
bonnet
you."
on.
I
Okay,
love that.
I mean business when I'm wearing pajamas and a bonnet.
And we was just on this couch all night. It was
It really
perfect.
was like I was like, oh my god, it's 1 o'clock. I should probably go home. And it's what's so interesting is the invite was peak. Like when you're close to somebody, you don't have to try. It was like, hey, what you do for Thanksgiving? I was like, well, nothing now, child. I don't canceled my flight back to the East Coast. Well, you could come over to eat. Well, what time you cooking? I don't know. What you cooking? I don't know.
I kept telling her, she kept saying, like, she kept trying to give me updates of when I said, Blue, it's no rush.
Right.
Because if you get it too early, it ain't nothing to eat over here.
At 3 o'clock, when I rolled out of bed, at 3 o'clock and said, "Hey, Fred, I'm about to jump in the shower." He said, "Good for you." Like, he was like, "I don't care." He's like, "Girl, I don't." Finally, around, I think I got there. I will say this: I got there
like
around
7:30 ish.
Yeah, I got there at 7:30. That's how leisurely it was. If you leave it up to me, I'm showing up at 7:30. You said whenever I felt like it. And so and the timing was perfect because the food was almost done. It's almost like I could feel it in the air. Like I could smell the chicken downtown.
Cuban skills came right back in confidence.
It really did. I smell chicken. And so I got excited. I walked in literally as the food was done. The timing could not have been any more impeccable. And what's interesting is after we ate, guys, I love a little magic. Something told me to bring my tarot cards. And I don't bring them out often. You have to be in my house for me to pull cards. Something said to bring them, and we pulled some tarot cards on Jeffrey Smith Jr.
Not just me.
Don't do that. It started with you.
Don't make it sound like I'm the only juicy part of the story, baby. Yours is cool too.
I don't even remember my part, so that's funny. So we pulled cards on Jeffrey, and it was so interesting because he was having this whole conversation. The same stuff he says in the show, guys. At least he's consistent with his BS. Fuck love, get paid. City girls up, XYZ.
But then what do I also say? That you don't be believing. What do I also say?
He loves love and for a couple hours, yes. And so we pulled his cards. Wow. We pulled his cards. He is the biggest sap on this show.
I told y'all.
No, you told us with a glint in your eye.
I be speaking my truth. Y'all be wanting to believe the bullshit.
You're deflecting. Oh, okay. The bullshit is very loud, friend. I
say the bullshit with my chest.
The bullshit is very, very raucous. I just want us all to acknowledge. And so it was just so funny because I pulled my cards, and of course my card said that I want love and companionship and X, Y, and Z. And Jeffrey's card said he wants even more. I was like, Jesus Christ.
She thought she was still pulling from her energy. I said, no, that's me, girl. That's me.
But then I pulled a card on who Jeffrey wished he was, and it was a city girl. So that's a projection. That's not really him, guys. For everybody who believes Jeffrey and his bullshit.
That what is it? My Gemini sun or is it my Gemini rising? Which one is
Gemini rising? Yeah,
my Gemini rising. You get a little. It's two sides.
He is pretending this man wants love, looking penub in all the wrong places.
Well, no, I ain't pretending. I just don't want it right now. Like as of November 27th, I don't want it right now. You're
pretending you want to check, and the card said bullshit. You still want love? I'm just scared.
No. I agree. I do eventually, but as of November 27th, in this moment, in this day and time, I do not. City girls up.
City girls up.
City girls lying. Okay, city girls crying in the shower.
See, you got to put them cards. Yeah, I'm telling my words. I'm telling my truth. You gonna put them cards like, oh, damn, he was right.
The card said he's pretending to be a city girl, but there's nothing more that he wants than the ultimate form of love. Like he pulled up the most exalted Cancerin. Like this is Lulu's cards. It was all feelings and hugs and kisses and rainbows and shit. It was like extreme. I want love. So I just want y'all to know that sometimes the loudest hoe in the room really.
Wait a minute now. Hold on. Excuse me. Let's redo that statement. Let's redo that.
No, because you're the proponent.
My grandmother might watch this.
Oh shit! Sorry. Oh man. Okay, you're a proponent of getting your money, and if he has 30 million, who needs love? The card said you do. That's who. The card said if he has 30 millions, you still need love.
But today I'll take the 30 million, and then eventually I'll fall in love.
And then I believe second, Jeff. I really don't.
Okay.
Nobody does.
Y'all didn't believe me when I told y'all I love, and Blue saw it for herself. She had the proof.
What did we say? It wasn't that we didn't believe you. We said you love. It was just interesting that you were louder about the coin.
Because right now, right now that's where I am.
Well, I'm not going to share what else happened during that reading. I will try to keep the rest of our business confidential. One of the things that I do want to point out that was so funny that harkened back to the show is I was lying on the couch, and 1 second I was so full from the food Jeffrey gave us. It was so good. I get up, and I guess my bralette, like I was wearing like a tank top. And Jeffrey, what did you scream when I tried to sit up on your couch?
Blue accosted me with them titties. She got up. I'm sitting there having a good old conversation with her. Mama got up in a way that I don't think was necessary, absolutely. But the way she got up, it was just wow. I said, they do exist.
No, what he actually said was titties. Like he literally screamed titties at me as I was. And Lou, he's being dramatic. I just sat up. That's all I did was sit up. And so it's just interesting that we talked about the comment section. You ain't no better than the comment section, friend.
It was because I now know what the comment section saw. Lou, I've been around you for a very long time. I have never seen that before in my life. I said, now, wait a minute. Does grow overnight? What's going on? What's happening here?
This is why I have a complex, as you guys can see. Because of this, I'm wearing a turtleneck, fully covered. We did get comments, people saying, hey, can you repost the video? The answer is no, because my own co-host cannot be around me without yelling titties. So I will not be ever sharing that video. That first of all, Lulu, you've seen me in that top before. Jeffrey is being so exaggerated, like he's exaggerating.
Latasha, you would have thought I had more than chicken over here that she was coming to get.
I was comfortable with my friends, so I dressed regular. You see, men are men, guys.
And that's why we were able to laugh about it, and it was not.
It was hilarious.
It was, just a very free fun, no pressure or anything like that.
I mean, I didn't feel pressure. I was wearing my crop top. I was very comfortable in my bonnet. I was dressed for bed in your house. You know what's a little bit tricky about that conversation though is, since then, I had a conversation with some friends. I'm picking my words wisely because, it's Jeffrey's point, we still want to have friendships after the podcast.
Say it all. Mention it all. Mention it all.
Oh, Mona Scott. You was Mona Scott right before.
Name them.
So shout out to my Haitian sis, Mona Scott.
Name them.
So I have recently found out that a friend that I thought was gay is actually bi and had been trying to get my cookies, and I was just too slow to pick up on it. And the question is that not predatory? If you are a bisexual man, is pretending you're gay, and look, I'm not talking about the one that you think I'm talking about something else.
Okay.
Because we've discussed.
Yeah,
it's a pandemic. Okay, it's a pandemic of bi fishing. Is that a thing? We're gonna call it bi fishing. So he made it seem like he was only into men and only talked about the guys that he was into, and I was very comfortable around him. And I knew something was off where we were hanging out one weekend. And this was a while ago. And now this story has different context because I've since found out that he's actually bi and not gay and has been sleeping with some of his female friends who fell for it, right? I was at his house. By the way, does this not sound like the beginning of a porno? Oh my God, I'm your gay friend. You don't want to get in the bed with me? So I was staying at his house. He had a big king-size bed. We were just going to share a bed, no big deal. And at one point, I was like, it's hot as balls in here. What's wrong? He said, the AC is broken. I said, so what have you been doing? Like, I can barely breathe in here. It's like Sahara Desert hot. He was like, oh, I just took a cold shower and sleep in the bed naked. Now, I'm Lulu, Jeffrey.
I made the same face as Latasha.
So I made the same face like, wait, you have a broken AC. It's the middle of the summer. I'm spending the weekend with you. And your game plan up until this point was been to take a cold shower naked and get in the bed. But like, I'm sharing the bed. So what happens now? And so he was like, it's no big deal. I'm gay. Just take a shower and get in the bed. I said, when a man tells me to take a shower and get naked in the bed, it's not for sleep. And so I'm uncomfortable. Like, like muscle memory, like I've been told this several times and it's never to sleep. Right. And so I was just like, yeah, I'm going to go sleep in the living room. And tomorrow I'm going to get you a fan. Like, I'm going to go to Target. I'm going to gift you a fan if this is how you're living when guests come over. Because it's so rude. Let's like, he was like, we've been friends for so long. Why can't I see you? Like, what's the big deal of me seeing you naked? And I was like, no, friend, that's not how that works. It doesn't say, oh, I've known you for 2 years. Let me see your cookies, right? Maybe I'm missing something on the friendship handbook. So I always thought that incident was weird because he kept on, it felt like the beginning of a badly acted porno. To find out now, after the fact, from mutuals over the weekend, that he's tried this with other female friends and ended up like fingering them.
Nasty.
Look at his face.
I don't like it.
Okay. I don't mean to laugh because this is actually bad, right? But like, it's funny because it's wild. How would you feel? I'm gonna start with Lou because I feel like, well, Jeff, you could get fingered too. Let me not be.
Like, this is just a Latasha question. I'm like, this is just wait. Oh, what'd you say? I'm sorry, huh?
No, because this involves all of us. But like, how would you feel? Because we both have lots of queer men in our lives who we love, who they're like brothers to us. We adore them. We have their backs. We want to see them happy. How would you feel if one of your brothers you found out was not actually gay the entire time and was low-key trying to like,
Come on, Lou, come take a shower and get in the bed.
How would you feel, Jeffrey, if you and Jeffrey were hanging out and he said,
Jeffrey would get me easy because I would be like, okay, Jeff.
Oh my God, wait, whoa. Okay, the show has already, okay, wait. I mean, no, Lulu, no. Oh my God.
Okay. Ooh, I did not come here to fool with y'all tonight.
Okay, no, Lulu, we were not expecting that. So you're saying that if Jeffrey on the show, co-host Jeffrey said, "Lulu, my AC broke, you're gonna have to take a cold shower and just get in the bed with me," you'd be like, "Okay," you really would do that?
I probably would. Like, I'd be like,
"Oh,
I am non-threatening."
he was non-threatening too, friend. Until a girl got fingered a little bit. So my question is, like, Jeffrey, how do you feel knowing that some of your brethren are moving like this? What are your thoughts about men pretending to be gay?
I don't know that man.
No. He said, "Don't put that on me, girl."
I'll get in it.
Because I want you because there's been a lot of predatory activity that's in the news recently, right? And we often think of the queer community as victims. We often don't talk about assaults or anything predatory that happens within the queer community. So how would you feel if you had a friend who was pretending to be gay but who's really bi? Would you tell your homegirls like, "Hey, don't be showing your titties around him, he's not one of us"? Like, how would you feel because I'm trying to be, how would you feel knowing that you had a friend pretending that he didn't like titties and other things?
I mean, I guess I have several questions because how close friends are y'all where you was willing to share a bed with him, just even in clothes, like you were willing to be there in the
as
bed
close as you
him?
and Lulu, you share a bed with Lulu, like
so that
close.
right. Yeah, so like I feel like with Lou, I would have obviously told I sleep with both girls and guys. Like she would know that, that's that closeness of friendship. So it's more surprising to me that he had never disclosed that to you.
Or it never came up.
Yeah, that's what's really kind of surprising.
And he knows that I'm pansexual, so it wasn't like the floor wasn't open for us to talk about being sexually fluid.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So now, do you think
who was the friend that told you, the one that got fingered?
You know what? I'm trying to protect.
I want to know, how did you get to the revelation?
I got to the revelation because I was talking to someone about how because sometimes you can be close to, and this is something that a straight guy told me. I was talking to a guy and he was like, "You have a lot of gay men around you and I'm cool with that. I'm not homophobic." Because one of my rules is, and Lulu, I don't know if you feel the same, I will not date a man who is homophobic because I'm part of the queer community. I also have friends who are queer. It doesn't jive with who I am as a person. If you don't like the queer community, being around me is going to get real uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And so Jeffrey, you are so you're back to being our toxic king. Not the homosexual said I would. Okay, so I wouldn't date a man.
$30 million to stay away from them. Sure. No, I'm just kidding. No,
the card said you a lie. Okay, the card not a problem. $30 million, I'll see you gays later. No, but like seriously, I wanted him to know about how, I had a lot of gay men around me. And there was a couple of friends. He was like, "Hey, I've noticed this thing that happens that even though straight women and gay men are not sleeping with each other, it is possible for a gay man to cock block a female friend. Like it's possible for your non-sexual friend to be so territorial that they still end up cock blocking you even if they're not fucking you." And he's like, a lot of women don't recognize that they have codependent relationships with their gay male friends that are still an impediment on their straight relationships sometimes with straight men, because even if he's not sleeping with you, that's still another man who you're making a priority over me. And as the man who's trying to be in your life, if you don't know how to do that dance, it can be intrusive. And he particularly called out one friend in particular, like that one in particular, some don't feel all the way gay friend. And I was like, really? No, I've known him forever. I love him. So I was talking to someone that knows him, the friend, and she said, "Wow, that's funny. I'm happy you listened to him, because one time we were hanging out and we were sharing a bed and I was stunned that we ended up messing."
She fell for the banana in the tailpipe.
I was like, "Damn it, you got me."
Oh man. And I was on the phone like, "Wait, what? But he's gay." She's like, "Girl, he bi," because he went down on me too. Like she was like, so they
went down. This is escalated. The black tickets.
Okay, it's really starting to feel like a porn. What she said was she used to have a crush on him, but like let it go when she realized that he was gay. Like women have had crushes on gay men since the beginning of time because y'all be fine and shit. Let's be honest, right? So you have a crush on a guy, he's gay. Well, you friend zone him. If he starts to mess around with you, she said, her base instincts jumped in. So for her, she doesn't see it as assault. She was surprised. Like she was very surprised, but I said, friend, did you feel like you were assaulted? She said, no, because it was a surprise, but it was a welcome surprise. And my brain went back to the weekend with no AC. And I was like, oh, I was patient zero. Like I felt so slow. Like, oh my God, that could have been me. And I didn't, unlike her, I wouldn't have wanted it.
I feel like we don't.
Go ahead, hit it.
I was going to say, Lou, you could probably speak to it. At least the friend circle around you. I feel like we be pushing y'all out there to meet niggas. We be trying to like, Tasha, go get them. Like we be the first ones to push y'all out there. You, Brandy, Jessica, both Jessicas. Like we got somebody for you. We know somebody for you, or go talk to them.
That's true.
And how long did you know this alleged finger banger?
I don't think it was a alleged friend. Okay, I don't think it was. I mean, we didn't say nobody's name. I think.
How long did you know the predator?
A long time. Oh damn! Damn! Oh my God! Wow! 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 It's a great segue into the next topic. But damn, a very long time. Yeah.
What's a long time?
I don't want to say.
I feel like he should have told. That's something that should have came up.
Too many details. People don't know who he. People watching.
That's something I feel like should have come up in the conversation. Just our friendship, like Blue, because you're a very open, easy person to talk to. That's something they'd be like, Blue, and that's not something I feel to be ashamed of. Oh, hey, also be fucking girls every now and then. Like I feel like that's something that would have came up.
If you fuck girls every once in a while, I'm not gonna judge you. Y'all know what I've done, so I have no room to judge. And so a part of me, but I also recognize that he internalizes shame a lot. And there's a lot of unnecessary secrets that he kept in other places in his life. So the idea of him keeping an unnecessary secret is actually in complete alignment with his personality. I just never thought that he would keep a secret that big.
So he a whole liar.
That's what it sounds like. Wow, y'all.
I could understand if you were telling me a story where he lied about having sex with men part, which would seem to fall more in the shameful, internalized,
He did it first, then he came out. Yeah.
But being scared to tell somebody, oh, I also sleep with women, that seems a little, I don't know.
He has a history of
lying,
withholding information unnecessarily.
Lying. We're gonna call it like what it is, lying.
Sometimes men, and I mean, Jeff, you could weigh in on this. Sometimes men who are bi or that they sleep with men, I think that sometimes they just like the attention they get from women. They still are not really bi.
With him though, he wasn't identifying as bi. Blue said he was identifying as gay. So he's secretly bi. So that's where I'm like, I don't. I think he's a liar. I know a lot of
gay men who said they still like to eat pussy, even though they.
Whoa! Wait, what happened? wait, this show. What is going on with the shows lately? Lulu, what happened? What do you mean?
I've had at least 2 gay men who told me they like enjoy eating pussy and they would still do it.
Well, there you have it.
Oh.
And
I mean, I don't. This is not a blanket statement for all gays. I'm just saying.
Okay.
And I think that also like there are gay men who like still enjoy the company, the softness of women, but not necessarily, want to be with them or even really have sex with them,
I think that I think ego is a very powerful drug. Because we all have a mutual friend who I was close to who would always say things like, yo, if I was into women, we'd be together. And I'm like, no, we wouldn't. No, we wouldn't. We wouldn't be together if you were into women. But I think there's something about the ego stroke of if you're my favorite person and the only thing that separates you from a partner is sex, it's nice to know that if I was available, you'd want me. That's not about sex. It's about ego to me.
Yes, I agree.
And to Lulu's point, we do know a couple people, actually, Lulu, you and I had talked about it extensively, who have a history of pretending to be bi, but we don't think they're bi because they're just like the attention of women. They like knowing that everybody wants them, including women. And the ego, it's tricky. I think sexual fluidity is a real thing. I'm a poster child for it, right? And I also think that there are times where there's a one-off. You could be a gay man and there's one woman who you just think is bad as hell. You could be a lesbian and be like, I'm a lesbian, but if Idris Elba ever called me, I might have put on a skirt. Like everybody doesn't realize how fluid they can be. And I'm very open to the idea of people being fluid, which I think is why I was so stunned that someone who knew me and knew my heart would keep a secret that big. And also, to Lulu's point, it is kind of predatory to try to reenact the porn. Like, yeah, just take a
To
cold shower
reenact the
and get
porn.
tell me to take a cold shower and we can share a bed and then we accidentally end up fucking. I've seen about 7 movies like that.
Yeah. I just think
That
again,
is a porn.
I just think I find it weird that he led with the I'm gay versus hey, I'm bi thing, and then later on coming out like I'm bi, like it's a secret. And I also feel like it's one of those things where women have the advantage in this double standard of being able to go in and out of the straight, gay, queer, in between pond, and it's not be a thing. But if a guy does it one time, he's forever labeled as gay. Oh, you.
Well, it wasn't one time, but no, you know what it is. I think it was so hard for
well,
him.
He was finger banging girls.
I mean, no, he went down on somebody else. I started investigating. There was
Jesus Christ.
I'm so sorry. So in the past 48 hours, I've thought of at least 2 examples now that I found out. Maybe I was the second and a half where he's tried to have sexual relations of the oral variety with women, and so for him, he had to struggle to come out. And so part of me is wondering, maybe he struggled to come out and admit he liked men and then was stunned to realize at some point that he also liked women, but didn't know how to walk it back or readjust it.
Yeah.
So that became, yeah.
Because we were kind of taught you're either straight or gay. But,
Yeah.
in the late 80s, early 90s, it was straight or gay. This whole fluidity and bisexuality and everything is something now. But for us, our generation, it was you are straight or you are gay. Which one?
Yeah.
Pick one. So.
And then, I mean, I can relate where I came out as bi, and I told everybody, hey, I think I'm bi because I was engaged and kept having dreams about people with long hair. I thought I was dreaming about Spanish men. No, that was a girl. And I was like, oh my God, why do I keep on having dreams about men with long hair going down on me? I was like, I really thought it was maybe a Spanish man. No, it was a girl. And so I stopped being engaged to explore my sexuality. And one of my friends was like, well, you've been dating a lot of women. Maybe you're a lesbian. I was like, really? But I like dick, but okay. And I thought maybe I was a lesbian for a while. And then I was like, no, I'm not a lesbian. I can't, I don't like y'all enough to claim that. And then I went back to women. And then finally I realized I'm just pansexual. I'm fluid. Like if I like you and your energy is amazing, there's a possibility I'll give you a chance and I don't really care what you're working with. Like I can figure it out. It's all the same in the dark to me. Right. But that was a back and forth with Lulu's face. Some of these toys, baby, you can't tell with the lights off.
Is your hands tied behind your back? What you mean it's all the same? You ain't touching.
I can figure it out in the dark, honestly. And so, like, if I like you, I'm gonna figure it out.
Is you bound and gagged? What's happening here? What do you mean?
If I like you, look, what's that old saying? There was a meme back in the day that I used to always say, "If I lick it, it's mine." Like so a part of me just feels like, look at Jeffrey's face. He's like, I've never seen that meme. No, but it was a back and forth.
I was thinking about food though.
Oh, see, I've never seen that meme about food. You're so wholesome for once. So people going back and forth, to your point, Jeffrey, women going back and forth is just seen as them figuring it out. For a man, there is shame. So I don't want to be a abuser apologist because he was being predatory. Lulu, you are correct. We were laughing, but he was being predatory. But I can also see how he might have felt ashamed to realize that he still liked women after he made a big hoopla about coming out the closet. Am I alone in that, or am I just being too nice? Because I've been told sometimes.
I actually, for once, I think you're being too nice.
Really?
Yeah, I think it would have been.
Jeffrey, if you discovered right now that you liked a woman, you wouldn't feel weird.
I wouldn't feel no shame about that. No.
Oh shit. Okay, well, go.
And that's I don't see the shame in. And I'm trying to, because we know better words, but I can't think of them right now. So mine might sound a little outdated and misogynistic, but I think you'll get where I'm trying to go with this. It's because it has been so much shame in quote unquote being gay, and being heterosexual is normal. To say, oh, I'm normal, why would it be shame in that? I wish I could have said that more eloquently, but I think you know what I mean. But
there's no gay man that that would feel a way about dating a guy who actually likes girls too?
No.
Oh, really?
Maybe a woman, but not a guy.
Okay, because in the lesbian community, a lot of lesbians that I knew in DC, if they found out you were bi, they didn't like the idea of competing with penis, and there was a lot of biphobia when I lived in this.
Lesbians.
No, that's why I'm surprised that the boys don't feel this. You know what, this motherfucker. Okay, let's. He said,
"Ooh, you said segue, huh?"
Yeah, segue. Let's segue. One thing I will say before we segue, you mentioned that you guys be pushing people on all your friends, but on Thanksgiving, Jeffrey told me the only friend that he never thinks to push anybody on is me.
because
How I be get the asexual card? Like, what's going on?
we had this whole conversation, and Baloo, I would dang, I wish we had a camera set up that night just so I could remember exactly.
Not if my titties were falling out. I'm happy we did.
So that could have been seen as well. But it was just something about like, because again, Lou, me, you, and we've been out, and I've heard Lou express these things about wanting a guy in the past and being open. And I remember when she first met one of her previous exes, just how open Lutasha had been, and even talking about it, saying it. And I told Blue, I was like, that's not something that you do. Like, you don't talk in this way. So I always think that Blue is about her money right now. Blue is about paper, this bag, getting it up, job. That's where her focus is and everything. But after we had our Thursday conversation, I'm like, ooh, Blue want a nigga.
I know.
Like, oh, okay.
And to be
my
fair,
Rolodex has been going.
I mean, I don't mind it. Please let me know what you find. But for the past year, I haven't wanted a guy. So you weren't wrong for the last year. I mean, the 2 or 3 years beforehand, I don't know why I was giving up that I was asexual. But last year I got tired because I had been, and I will say this too, the reason why I'm so secretive, and I'm going to be honest, private, but sometimes secretive about who I'm sleeping with or even my love life is because when I lived in DC, and even when I lived in New York, there were so many instances where I was pulling people that everybody else wanted. And the scrutiny, the gossip, the chatter, there was always so much mess around it, right? Like I always associate people knowing about my love life with unnecessary noise and mess. And so I kind of got into the habit of my love life is safer when it's a secret. Like when I keep who I'm fucking to myself until I figure out what it is, it's safer. And because I'm in LA where everything's a situationship, I haven't messed with anybody out here who lasted long enough to tell you guys about. It'd be like, oh, that was a fun 10 days. You know what I mean? And so a part of me rather like just quietly test the waters and then tell y'all when somebody's of value than be like, oh, here she come with another one. Because it's been a lot of false starts.
I don't tell the world, but I tell my friends because I need spies. I need
you need help.
I need Carfax. I need to know the history.
Yeah.
I need to listen. Who is this? Y'all know who this is? Here's the photo.
I'm gonna start doing that. Jeffrey, did I not do that on Thanksgiving?
Yep.
For the first time in our entire friendship, since the day Jeffrey has met me, I have never showed him anybody that I was interested in. Yep. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna show Jeffrey a boy that I'm interested in and like tell him details before
his job. No, I'm just playing.
Oh my God. Show is over. Show's canceled. Thank you for tuning into Humanized. Oh my heavens. I almost sharted. Oh my God, Jeffrey. For those of you who are listening, Jeffrey just grabbed his phone as if he was about to show a picture of the guy that I'm talking to, and I almost lost my fucking mind. Wow. Yeah, so now that you guys know I'm open, please help a sister out. Lulu, have you ever had moments where you wish that you didn't share about who you were dating, or have you always just had a great friend group? Because I haven't.
I think that I'm usually pretty private to begin with. So I don't really share, like, especially if I'm unsure, like myself. And I always tell people this, I want to know how I feel and before I even include, even friends and family. Like, cause I'm like, oh, if I mention it, I'll be like, I actually don't even really like him. So I like to figure out like where I'm at first. And then, I haven't had that problem, but I usually, like, I was dating this one guy and my friends didn't meet him for years. So
whoa. Okay, that's witness protection. That's something different, friend. Oh my God. Don't you just love it when you think you agree with somebody and then they keep talking like, oh no, that's different. We just turned a corner. I do not want my niggas to be in witness protection. Like, I'm just thinking a couple of months. Dating is funky.
I'm ready.
And I knew that. And so that's why I was like, why am I telling my friends about this? So they could be like, bitch, you in danger. So I was like, when I figure out that I'm ready to move on from him, then I can even tell them so they can help me and be like, didn't you just say that you wasn't messing with his ass no more? And I'm like, I did say that. So
and Jeffrey has auditions.
When I meet you, I'm bringing you to brunch.
Jeffrey,
my friends.
Jeffrey has American Idol auditions for every man.
You're gonna immediately meet my friends. Yes.
He's like, here's the boy I met downstairs at CVS. Can you come look at him real quick?
Because I have some of the best friends and best people in this world around me, and I know that they're gonna get a good if you can vibe and fit in with my friends, then
no, the problem is they all vibe with us, Jeff.
No. I ain't say that's love. I said that's a start.
No, I didn't say love. I said the problem is they all vibe with us, and they wonder why when you ghost them, they're like, but I met his whole family. Like, what's going on? Like, Jeffrey, we had an intervention with you about this. Like, when you introduce.
I say you will do that. He'll be thinking he in. I'm like, what happened? You're like, I'm like,
I do think it's misleading to have somebody around all your friends if they're not gonna see them again.
Well, I don't know. I don't go in thinking you ain't gonna never see him again.
I'm following about 8 of Jeffrey's exes. I don't even know, and they be responding. I be talking to them like, I guess what's going on, homie? And I don't know them.
Because and also y'all can also say I don't have like bad other than one. I don't have bad endings with anybody. It's not anybody I don't talk to other than one.
It's a big one though, friend. It's a big
however, one. They genuinely are like good people though, in the sense of like, they are nice people. So it's not like, oh, I'm not dating them anymore, so don't talk to them. It's like, this person was cool. We ain't work out, but they still cool. You probably see him at brunch again.
I'm attached to 3 of them with the next one. Jeffrey's messy because he'll have like the old one and the new one and the maybe later one all in the same brunch. Yeah. And I'd be like, what the fuck? Okay, I'm not gonna get too much detail. I will say this though, we're talking about discernment when it comes to relationships, right? How much on a scale of 1 to 10 do you think? How good was your discernment at 19? 1 to 10. Let's get a 1 to 10.
Oh, shot.
1 to 10. 3? Give me a number. 3.
2.5.
Damn, really fractions.
At 19, I was very naive at 19. That was in my very, very, very first relationship. So everything was green to me. I believed anything that was told to me.
Same.
It's funny you said it because very short. Literally, I was actually just on the phone yesterday with my ex, my very, very first relationship. And we was
You circled the block. You were circling the block on Thanksgiving weekend.
No, because we're friends. Like we're very close friends now. We are it's one of my closest friends. But we were kind of reviewing the tape. We were traveling back in time and having a very open and honest conversation. And so it is interesting to almost 20 years later hear their perspective versus my perspective and meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, 20 years of perspective. And Lulu, do you think you were really, because you said a 3, which is only a half a point more than Jeffrey?
No, I didn't know what was going on. And I was like, I probably was more rigid than open, but I still didn't really know what's going on. Like, I was very like, because my mom was like, I'm in college. She was like, you need to be careful. Watch out for these niggas. Da, da, da. So I was just like, put these niggas on. Like, I'm not.
Damn. We went in bobbing and weaving.
Bobbing and weaving. You ain't going to catch me. You ain't going to catch me. Hey. Well, the reason I was a 1, by the way. Okay. I was a 1. A scale of 1 to 10, had it been 0 to 10, I would have been a 0. Okay. I did not know my booty from a hole in the wall. And so the reason why I asked that question about how naive you were at 19, because that's how old Cassie was when she got with Diddy.
Yes.
Yeah. And I love that we opened up with being reflective about how stupid and young and naive we were at 19, because at this point, everybody, including the aliens who are waiting to reveal themselves, have heard the news about what happened with Cassie's case. She accused Diddy of things that everybody believes. Not a single person has come forward and said they don't believe it. Instead, we're arguing about if it's that bad or not. Right? I have not heard a single person say he ain't do it. People are saying, so what if he did it? Okay, like nobody, even his apologists are not saying he didn't do it. They're just arguing about how bad it was that he did it. That tells you something right there. When you have 30 plus pages of heinous accusations and not a single person says that don't sound like him, you might want to reevaluate the way you're moving through the world. And lately, people like Aubrey O'Day, who are finally having their moment of see. I told you, niggas. I told you. Aubrey's having a field day with this. She recently posted a video of a bodyguard who worked with Diddy for many years. And the bodyguard said that he was in the room with other people who he's still friends with. He said, you can't sue me because it happened and I didn't sign shit. And he said that Diddy had told a group full of really powerful men that he had planned to, after getting platinum records, sex traffic the Danny Kane girls and sell them off to men in the industry. And the thought that this man had all these young girls coming from all over the world, allegedly, to audition for him with the intent of using them to get records and platinum records and X, Y, and Z, and then sex traffic them. To me, that's not about power anymore. That's sinister, right? To me, that feels very dark energied. And it's unnecessary. Because a lot of times when people do really fucked up things in the industry, we say, well, this is what you have to do to get by and to get over and whatever. But what happens when you're already at the top of the food chain and you're just doing mean-spirited things just to be mean-spirited, right? Allegedly speaking. And so my first question was, how do you feel about the people who are arguing on the other side, saying that, well, the fact that she waited so long means that this is just a cash grab and that her abuse must not have been that bad because she was living with a billionaire? What are your thoughts around that argument in particular?
Jeff lifts a little purse, so I want to hear from him.
I feel for Cassie. I really feel. I mean, I would not sit here and say I don't believe some shit went down in that compound. I absolutely am very sure that it happened.
Oh, honey, come on, yeah.
I mean, I it's been settled. We just gotta. She ain't
But
talking about it no more. So I'm like,
do you judge? Do you judge her for staying? Because that's been the biggest
hell
point.
no. You know the lifestyle that Cassie was living.
And it wasn't just the
Yes.
lifestyle; it was also that she was in mental slavery. People think that just because
Oh yeah, no,
stay,
it's
it must
absolutely a
mean,
mental thing.
yeah. People think you're staying because of the money, but it's also like this is an abuse of power. This is the person who used. By the way, guys, she signed a 10 record deal to him, 10 records. So she literally was in indentured servitude to him in the music industry, and allegedly was a sexual slave to him as well. So this man literally owns your life for the next 10 albums.
And I was trying to explain this to one of my homeboys because he was like, I don't think that you should be able to sue after the fact. Like, that's what makes me think it's a money grab. I was like, she was 19. Okay, so I was like, first of all, so Diddy is 20 years older. She's 19 years old. Everybody's stupid at 19. He groomed
Everybody.
her. She was not the first person he did this to and was not the last. He's been doing
Mm-hmm.
this for decades before she even came on the scene. So he knows exactly what to do and positions to put you in order to make you feel helpless.
Yeah.
I was like, don't know what kind of relationship she had with her family. And even so, he probably isolated her from her family and her friends. So they wouldn't be like, oh, girl, you not supposed to be getting sex trafficked and kicks in the stomach. That's not cool. Boyfriends don't do that. But the predators, they literally practice like this kind of stuff. So they get you to the point where your mind, because once they get your mind, then they can do everything else. Like, he had one because and I was like, and another thing, abuse doesn't start off with the first week of they dating, he punches her in the face. It's like
Absolutely not.
like it's like a slow thing, and then it's just like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, I was sleepy, I was drunk, I was high, I lost some money, blah blah blah, and like all these reasons. It is like literally like a snowball, like a slow progression of things like that happening. And my homeboy, he was like, well, I've been around manipulative women and blah 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 blah, and when I recognized it, I got out of there. And I was like, there's also like a physical aspect that this is a 6'5" man who I was talking to. I was like, there's a physical aspect that you will never experience as a woman.
And
Even though,
also
like,
abuse of power, a millionaire in his 30s and
and her
a young
boss,
girl who's 19, and you're my boss and my boyfriend. You can't compare you and Susie from HR and you getting away from her at the same thing, you mental giant. It's not the same thing.
exactly. And he was like, well, she could call the police and give me an STD. I was like, she can't kick you in the basement and lock you down there.
Yeah, your friend is not that. No offense to your friend, but he really needs a little bit more depth with his analysis.
Yeah, like I just was really, and I was just like, wow, like, and don't you hate it when you have conversations like with friends and you're like, wow, you're really stupid. Yeah.
Damn, you not y'all said it in unison. Stupid.
I mean, it's no. Again, I definitely feel for because even outside of Cassie's story, there have been these, whether you call it rumors, reports, whatever, over the years about,
Diddy's parties.
Yeah, all of that stuff. But her, I would say, being the quote unquote primary, I'm sure she experienced a lot of shit that these other girls never did. They might have gotten some of Diddy's manipulation and things, but I'm sure Cassie got the bulk of it. It just sucks that
and people were admitting it in plain sight. People were talking about it in plain sight.
Yeah, it just sucks that she being 19 at that age, she just kind of got into.
Like as it's progressing, she's probably thinking like, is this normal? Because nobody is saying anything. Like everybody is watching me, so who am I really going to talk to? The police? Like, and they'll be like, oh, she was like, all these people could turn on me and be like, oh, I didn't see that, or oh, I didn't do this. Like she probably in addition to everything else and not really having the like even just the strength to get out of it, like she probably felt crazy because she was like, why are all these people letting him treat me like garbage? Is this normal? Like if she's never had an adult relationship, as you said, Jeff, 19 was when you had your first one. And so it's just like you don't even have anything to compare it to, like if this is normal or if it's not. So,
and also the ecosystem too, the ecosystem that he built. I just want to point out that there are people who they get into whole relationships and they find themselves a year into the relationship wondering, how did I get into this? I'm arguing about shit that I never thought I would do. I'm feeling ways and acting stupid in ways that I never thought. And there are people in their 30s who are having these moments of cognitive dissonance, right? And also the people who work in hostile work environments. I quit a job at the top of the year because I realized that every single person in that organization had gotten used to psychological warfare and it was normalized. And me saying, hey guys, this is unhealthy, I was looked at like I was crazy for pointing out the obvious was unhealthy. So if you can work in a toxic work environment for 30 fucking years as an adult, right? You're waiting on your pension as an adult and your boss is talking to you crazy and you're used to it. If you can have a partner that you've been dating for 3, 4, 5 years who makes you feel like shit, but you literally can't see a way out. How dare you act confused at a 19-year-old girl dating an A-list man who is a media mogul who has her hobnobbing with Beyonce and them? How would you act surprised that she can't get out when your grown ass can't get out with much less at stake? I think the audience is being intellectually dishonest.
Yeah, and it's just I feel like it's mostly men, not all, but like, and I think that that's misogyny too, because I'm like, they're just more worried about the money. Diddy, I felt like he didn't even give a fuck about the money. He was like,
$30 million ain't shit to Diddy.
He didn't. He said, "Okay, I'll make that while I'm asleep."
He's like,
literally.
Hey, bye.
I want to shut this up. I want this to be done. I don't want to hear about it no more. What, 30 million? Is it she almost 50? Okay, 30. Here you go.
Somebody said she probably got more than 30 because I feel like 30 was the starting bid.
I was about to say, honestly, I feel like 30 is a discount.
Like, 30 was the starting bid.
Right. I think
he probably paid more. He paid a rush fee. And what's interesting is we heard in 24 hours. That means he probably closed it in 8. Can we be honest?
Yeah.
He probably got to page 12 and said, just call Cassie.
Diddy ain't get to page nothing. Diddy heard his name mentioned in some bullshit and said, I don't want to hear no more. What does she want? Get rid of it.
To her. And I feel like he's so cavalier about it too. I bet you he was like, whatever, give her whatever she wants. And
brother love.
It's a mind fuck. And I think that I had a friend who her mother was in a physically abusive relationship with her father. And she said that one night her mom came and tried to get her sisters to try to leave like in the middle of the night. She's like, come on, you guys, let's go. And she was like, well, where are we going? She was like, I don't know. We're probably gonna have to stay at a shelter and da da da. And they were like, well, we don't really want to go. We don't want to leave our school. We don't want. And she said that like broke her mom's heart. And she was like, her mom stayed married to him like until she died because she was like, she had mustered up the strength to like leave, and then like the first ounce of pushback, especially you care about your kids more than you care about yourself. And she was just like, okay, well, I'll just stay. So I'm like, even for Cassie, if she's like, let me grab all my stuff and try to get out of here while he's out of town or going, like he probably, you know how much pull this man has? He probably found her, like, get her back over here. Just bring her back. I don't care if you got to drag her. I don't care. Or, you know, whatever, like, you don't know. There's literally no ends to what this man could do. So like finally she gets out and she's probably finally like in a mental state where I can talk about this without bursting into tears or like having trauma. She probably had to go to therapy and all kinds of stuff just to talk about it. And it was decades of her formative years. Like
her major and you know what's so interesting? There's a video of Young Jock. Again, people talked about this in plain sight. There's a video of Young Jock saying, I was hanging out with Diddy and Cassie and them, and Diddy saw this beautiful Russian lady or something whose head was half shaved. And he was like, oh, that's hot. We're shaving your head tomorrow, Cassie. And he just shaved it. And the next day she was bald headed. Like, imagine having so little autonomy over your body that if he just sees a bitch with a shaved head, you know that you're going to have no hair tomorrow. Like, she can't even pick her own hairstyles. And he's announcing this in front of big celebrities with huge followings, and nobody's pushing him back. And not only are they not pushing it back, they're sharing it as funny anecdotes in interviews. Yeah. Like, how could you possibly feel that somebody that nobody knew, folks didn't even know Cassie was biracial. They thought she was Latina. People didn't even know what her race was. Like, she is not seen as Cassie by herself. She's seen as Cassie, the one-hit wonder who was under Diddy and on his arm for 10 years as arm candy. She was basically a human accessory.
He had 2 hits.
Okay. What was the other one?
Long way to go.
I've never heard of it, so I'm not sure.
Yes, you have. I will play it for you because we ain't got copyright on here, so I can't
play
it now.
Jeffrey has the musical taste of a 45-year-old auntie who works at A&R, and he has heard every. He's heard. That's not a flower. I think that's the pedal. Okay. There's one major hit that we all think of when we think of your name, and what really is interesting is I knew that we were going to talk about misogyny because we're talking about assault and a really powerful man. So I made it a point to pull out also the internalized misogyny by the way of Polly J. Parker from the Proud Family. You know, Paula J. Parker, Google it, Jeffrey.
No, I know who she is, but wait, why are we talking about Paula J. Parker? What?
Because she came out and she's a Diddy apologist, and she came out and said, basically paraphrase, you were complaining about dating a freaky ass millionaire when you were benefiting from it. And she said, I'm trying to see who the victim is here. Because I look to me like you just got with a freaky dude and you benefited, and now you mad because the money ran out because you dated the personal trainer. He ain't got no more money left.
You said that publicly?
Yes, she tweeted it, babe.
Oh, that's kitchen table talk. Jesus.
Right. She said, so what? We were all getting abused and raped by freaky ass millionaires in the 90s. Girl, stop talking.
Stop, Paula. Jesus.
Proud family.
No, R&B diva. She's still living that R&B diva's life.
She really is. And then she said, that girl only deserved money because she was his common law wife. Not because of the abuse, because she was his common law wife. That's you
She
spelled
got an
sex
old school.
slave wrong.
She has that very very like 1940s old school way of thinking of
Wait a
how
minute,
a woman,
1940.
because that they taught women that your man could punch you in the face and that's what you're his wife. You
Oh,
probably
you be
said
bringing
something to
home the
anger
money,
him.
child. You got a roof
He's
over your
bringing
head.
home the money. You got a roof. You said something to anger him. You shut up. Your mama probably tell her, no, you shut up.
He's a good man, Savannah.
Right.
He's a good man.
Paula she got to let that go. No,
you
ma'am.
You know what's so funny? I've had friends, that's not funny. It's actually sad. I've had friends who've argued with me, former friends, actually. Let me fix that. I have former colleagues, people who used to know me, who've argued with me that said that you can't get raped while married. I said, now, girl, what do you think the vow said? To have and to hold, and you can take my cookies whenever you want? That's not part of the vows. I was like, yes, you can get raped if you were married. Your husband can still have non-consensual sex with you. She's like, no, that's your husband. It's his vagina now. And I was like, oh man, we cannot be friends. And because that's problematic as hell. One thing, because a broken clock is right twice a day. I hate to admit this. In the middle of Paula's deeply problematic, Asian like spoiled milk rant that she went in, the one thing she said is that Cassie's beauty is part of the reason why she was so quick to be seen as a sympathetic character, and that had she been a non-ambiguous, non-biracial Black woman, the sympathy would have been lesser and the pushback would have been louder.
That she look like Paula. Oh,
yeah. Oh.
I'm sorry.
This episode is problematic.
Sorry.
That's right. But you're right, though. Had she looked like Paula or even me, right? Like, if she was a non-racially ambiguous Black woman who was not considered such at the height of the conventional beauty standard, Paula said the sympathy, and I honestly, that's the one thing she said that I could not fight.
I think
it's a lot of things compounded. And then also, I think it's the part of people for so many years wanting Diddy to get his, like, because again,
but if Sexy Red came out against Diddy, Sexy Red would not be getting the same kind of sympathy, friend. Let's be very honest. Let's be very honest. We've been very honest this episode. Can we be clear that if Sexy Red came out,
that's why I said it's several things. Like, I do think that's another thing though that's piled on top of it. But I mean that may. I mean, for me, I just heard that. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? That might have played into it. I just heard Diddy, Cassie is coming for you, and I said, "Whoa!" The one person that is close, unlike Aubrey O'Day, who we know worked for Diddy, and the other girls are Danny Kane and Total and Mace. Cassie is the one girl next to Kim Porter, God rest her soul, who was like so close to you that we will believe what she says.
And she's not known to run her mouth, so when she does speak, it holds weight.
This is her exactly. It ain't like Cassie been over the years in controversy. The only thing they say about Cassie, she was a one-hit wonder. But they don't be like, Cassie be out here lying, y'all. Cassie been on interviews lying. Cassie don't say shit.
What do I always say on the show? Consistency of character is the best response. There are people who have lied on me very raucously, and I've been asked on several occasions, why didn't you show the receipts? You have videos, you have X, you have Y. I'm like, because anybody who's paying attention is like, that bitch is consistent. She's a Labrador retriever. We don't believe she did that. And so I feel like if you're consistent enough, people start to know your character. We're like, that don't really sound like her. And I love that Cassie had that character to fall back on. However, it is sad because there are people out here who are not angels, who don't have consistency of character, who are still victimized.
Who still are victims, yeah.
They're just less likely to be believed, and that sucks. But that's why I tell everybody, please work on your consistency of character, because if somebody powerful lies on you, the only thing that you have as a trump card is your reputation.
Yeah.
There have been some really powerful people who have threatened me. And the only reason I was safe is because I was like, if I write an op-ed about you, it's over, right? I'm broke, but if I write an op-ed, it's over, right? And they've been like, yeah, let me just, and it's happened. Like, I got a payout a couple of years ago because a very powerful group of people were doing something to me, and I threatened to speak on it, and they knew that my words had weight. Perfect example, Jeffrey, if you were to come up and say something and you were to make an accusation, because you're known for having guilty grace. I think somebody in the comments called you the guilty grace general. We should get you a t-shirt. We should get you a little hat or something. Because you're the guilty grace general. What happened last week? You told me somebody was toxic. I don't even know the person. Like it must be toxic. If Jeffrey called you toxic, bitch, that shit must be toxic. With sight unseen, without even knowing, I was like, because I know you love you some guilty grace.
Because I'm gonna be fair. One thing, even if it makes me like
we didn't say that.
I'm be fair.
We didn't say that. We didn't say fair. We said guilty grace. we didn't use none of the words. Did you hear me use any of those words? I said guilty grace. Am fair.
That's where the guilty grace comes from. Being fair. It's two sides to every story. So
okay.
Sometimes mine ain't always the one that's right.
Okay, well, here's the thing about talking about two sides to every story. There's also several sides to litigation and punitive damages, because the one thing in America is it's built on capitalism. And so if you can't get justice, you can at least get a coin. And because the New York Adult Survivors Act was coming to expiration, Cassie rang the bell like Paul Revere, and everybody in their mama got hit with some kind of allegations.
Did you
The,
compile a list?
I was going to, but then I was like, I don't want to make this too heavy on the predators list because that's just exhausting. Though I'm just gonna talk about the one that broke my heart the most, because now I'm looking at my playlist funny because I listened to his songs literally on my Whip Appeal playlist. I have a playlist called Whip Appeal where it's all the songs from the 90s that I love. Aaron Hall.
Oh.
Aaron Hall was allegedly taking turns raping people with Diddy, like tag team back again. And I just was devastated because Let's Chill has been on every R&B playlist that I've ever made in my entire life. And I don't know how to piece of my heart. Like, I'm devastated for the music. So how do y'all feel about the Aaron Hall of it all? And Luke said, keep my name out your mouth. Luke said, because I make nasty music, I videotape everything and get NDAs for everything. So Luke said, I'll see y'all in court. Luke is the only person who responded with his chest like, nah, I'm Uncle Luke. I'm not stupid. But Aaron Hall, his silence has been deafening. How do y'all feel about finding out that so many of your faves were enthralled in these allegations? Some of them are not surprising.
I feel like it tracks, honestly, because I feel like for the most part, it's very difficult for men to have power and not abuse it, unfortunately.
Lutashi took the words right out of my mouth. It sucks. It sucks that men, not all men, I hate blanket statements because there also are some women that can abuse power as well. But it sucks that people, they get a little taste of success, money, power, whatever you want to call it, and they just.
But to be like me, it's different than I feel like a lot of times. Obviously, women can be predators for sure. It can absolutely happen. But I feel like with men, it's more of a thing. And I think I was watching some video about it, and because she was talking about how like all these men are getting allegations at once. And that's why they enjoy like the younger girls, because it's just easier. It's literally just easier for you to manipulate somebody who's 19 than somebody who's 29.
Like we all just admitted that our discernment was all three of us below a 5.
I was a 1.
Exactly. So we know everybody in that age range of legal, because hopefully these are legal consenting adults, legal age to about probably 25. That discernment, it's real. Everything shiny looks good.
And I don't think you can consent to sex traffic. So, child, yeah.
Even with Aaron Hall, didn't he get like some? His baby mama, wasn't she like 15 when they had their first kid or something?
Diddy's first baby mama was a teenager when he got her pregnant.
I think
Aaron
Hall. And then you think about Russell Simmons, he got with Kimora when she was 15. Like this.
I'm actually friendly with the Drew who broke the case on Russell Simmons that caused the stuff he's in. I'm very friendly with her. She's a icon in hip hop and A&R. She's the one who came up with the "You're All That I Need" remix with Mary J and Method Man. So many of the music that we find iconic, Drew was behind it, and I get emotional when I think about her because she was a huge architect of hip hop, and because she called out Russell, she lost her legacy. Like when we talk about the 50th anniversary of hip hop, when we talk about, what it's meant to the culture and to the globe, women like her are erased because they have the audacity to get raped allegedly and not shut up about it. So yeah, it's heartbreaking that so many people who built this industry that's now a multi-billion-dollar industry, because they wouldn't let you assault them in peace, they've now been robbed of their life's work. So it is really, really devastating. And a part of me feels though, what is the slope? If we stop listening to the music of all accused people, are we just going to be humming to each other? Like, where's the line? Like, we all know that the R. Kelly at the barbecue is not going to happen. We're very clear that you got to tell people ahead of time, we're going to play Step in the Name of Love. You want to go home now, right? But outside of R. Kelly, what happens to the less sensational people? Like, where's that line for you guys when it comes to music and predatory activity?
I haven't actually heard Aaron Hall's in music in a public setting in a very long time. So I think
privately though, like in your playlist.
I can say I have never typed in Aaron Hall, but
I typed in Guy.
Like if I have on like a Spotify random playlist, because I do listen to a lot of 90s music, he has popped up before. But I haven't. This is all before his allegations came out, so of course I let it play.
But it's not about Aaron Hall. I'm talking about music in general. It's not about Aaron Hall and his playlist.
It's so hard. Like, the R. Kelly one, like I stopped listening to it, but it's a hard thing because I'm from Chicago. So growing up, R. Kelly is like
the guy who went to the playground and got kids.
Music. Yeah, we had Michael Jordan and we had R. Kelly. Like those, you knew best. We had the Jordans. You had R. Kelly's music, and so it's like to kind of not have it played. It's like, honestly, I didn't realize how much I, you know what, I didn't realize how much I don't miss it. But every now and then, a song might be like, oh, I don't want to hear something. But
My line is production. Now I can't do that now. Like, come on.
what you
Like
mean production?
a lot of these people are brilliant producers, and so
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that anytime, any place R. Kelly remix, and I'm just
Songwriter.
like,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
he's
Because then you
not
got
on
to
the
start.
song.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because then you got to start canceling out albums. Actually I have not listened to. You know, I'm a '90s fan. I have
You
not
are.
listened to Sparkle "Be Careful"
Oh hell
since R.
no,
Kelly went to
I can't.
jail.
Because Sparkle just reeks of R. Kelly. Like
It's
he's implied in the
it's
room. You can
just like,
smell R.
yeah.
Kelly in the room when you hear Sparkle's
But
voice.
that was, oh baby, you put that on. That's one of those like choir songs where everybody know to just start singing together. But it's
And the
like,
irony is she called him out. So it sucks that we can't listen to her music because of her association with him when she was one of the first people to call him out. She's like, how I catch a ricochet? I actually blew the whistle.
because even for a while, I kind of stopped playing Kanye for a while when he was doing the whole slavery was a choice thing, and I was kind of and hanging with Donald Trump. I stopped listening to Kanye, and then it's like some things just keep creeping in there, and it's like, ugh.
I play Good Morning as the background for something, and my Jewish friend slipped into my with some eyes, and I was like, oh, right, I guess I can't play Good Morning by Kanye West. No,
I
it.
haven't seen an episode of the Cosby Show since Bill Cosby. Like it's just
Oh yeah, I can't watch that. I can't. It fucks with me too heavy because he's in all the episodes. It's his show.
literally.
You cannot skip it. It's so interesting that the line between the artist and the art, and that can get really really tricky. I want to do a little pivot because we were talking about power and money and how it corrupts, right? And it corrupts when it comes to music and courtship. If we get away from the billionaires, and I was telling Lulu while we were waiting for you to log on, Jeff, that this is a conversation that we just had on live with Cheech and Bridget. Bridget Kelly and my friend Cheech are engaged. They're getting married in Jamaica in April, and we had a live today because of the guys that I've tried to have any kind of courtship with recently. The theme that keeps popping up is I'm meeting people who are saying that they feel like they're too broke to date. And that became a really, really interesting conversation for me because I'd never really thought about that. But I've recently become aware that a lot of men, straight men in particular, I don't know if queer men are different, Jeffrey, you can speak up about this. They are so busy watching the gram and seeing people say, oh, you can't take me to Olive Garden. You can't take me to Cheesecake Factory. You better get me a jet, X, Y, and Z, that they now feel like they don't want to risk dating unless they're rich. And so there's all these straight men. We always say there's not enough men to go around. There's all these straight men who now feel like if I don't have a serious bag, I can't date because I'm going to get clowned. What do you guys feel about dating while not financially affluent? Not necessarily even broke, just not rich. Because people sometimes conflate broke with not rich, which is not the case.
I think the internet is not a real place. And I think
Yeah.
that like compare yourself to something that somebody's even complaining about on the gram. And there was this one like funny person on Instagram. I think his name is Rich Fontaine or something, but he was like talking about the like, oh, you know, these girls talking about they don't want to go to Cheesecake Factory. Da, 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 da. He was like, yeah, they don't want to go if they don't like you. Like
that's true. Oh, that's a bar.
I was like, I know a lot of girls. I know most of my friends would not have a problem with going to Cheesecake Factory or
Jeffrey. How about she said most of my girls and you raise your hand?
I go to Cheesecake Factory.
You one of the girls.
We can go real quick. I actually have a list of all the cheesecake and orders for my favorites, and I got a lot more I got to try. So
your inner fat girls always waving. I love you for you, friend.
But yeah, like I think that it's just like there are women who date short men. There are women who date guys with regular jobs. Like all of these things are still actively happening. And then everybody gets so mad at everybody. So then, like you said, they're like, well, I see on the ground women's doing this and this. Be charming, be personable, be happy, be all these things. I'm sure you can get a bitch to go to the cheesecake. Be clean. Like
hygiene. Straight men. If you have streaks in your drawers. The one thing I will say about the gay community has excellent hygiene. And now that I've been thrown back into the heteronormative pool, y'all stank a little. No, straight men smell a little bit. Y'all need to talk to the boys about your hygiene because the queers and strippers, gay people, women and strippers have great hygiene. But some of these men, let me stop because I have heard that there's some. This guy told me, please excuse my language. He said the hood boogers be smelling, and that's been stuck in my mind.
Hood boogers
be smelling, and it's been stuck in my. He said like sexy red.
What is a hood booger?
He was talking about sexy red. He was like girls like that. He tried to sleep with them, and they be smelling. And I really got.
Oh, I thought you meant like little shit crumbs or something. Oh, you mean like a person person. Because y'all, we were talking about streaks. We talking about streaks. So you said hood book. I'm like, oh, it's a like little shit crumb hanging. Is that what you like? I was
What's wrong with this show? Okay, he called him. He's like, yeah, it was something where I was like, I've been saying ski as a tick at this point.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he was like, and we were talking about dating and how men are always saying pussy ain't got no face. He's like, yeah, but it does have a smell. And I was like, whoa, 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 sir. And he was like, nah, them girls, like, y'all always, gas them up and saying, ghetto girls deserve love too, but some of them be smelling. And I was like, wow. Now I had to pause because I really wanted to fight him, but I thought about how we talk about men who don't wipe the back end properly. And so hygiene in general, guys, I personally don't use the term hood booger, but I wanted to quote him properly. Hygiene in general, guys, is a big thing. But if let's say you smell decent and you have a good heart, but you only have maybe $100, $150 every week left over for dating, should you still date?
I mean, I can say I can understand both sides because dating can be expensive. Like,
it's an investment.
You don't want to just sit at home every night. Like, I mean, of course you can get creative and whatever, but dating can be expensive, and it is a lot of imagery or words out there of especially these stupid lists going around like, oh, we ain't going to Cheesecake Factory, Olive Garden. And it's like, well, honestly, right now, this is all I can afford. So I am hoping, you will like me to Latasha's point, you like me, so we can go out. But if you gonna date, you got transportation. How one of y'all gonna get from your house to their house? Then if y'all going out on a date and then you got to spend on a date, then you got to get back home. Like these Ubers or this gas, it could add up. So I do think it's something you have to consider.
Yeah, and you should date your wage. Like, don't try to, if you can't do it, or like, I think that it's about a man's own comfortability with it. Because I think that that's really what it boils down to, because you're like, I don't think I can. It's like, you probably want to do more than you're able to at this point in your life. So maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should focus on your career, because there's probably a girl who will be with the shit. She might look like Sexy Red, but you probably don't.
Oh, wow.
I don't agree with the date your wage. I don't know. Have a little faith in yourself.
You don't miss the 30 million over here. Go ahead, Jeffrey. Like, bitch, mind your business.
Look, have a little confidence in yourself. If you genuinely like the person, not just because you're dating them because of their wallet, but if you like see a Latasha or a Blue and you really like them, but you still working part-time at Chipotle or something.
Whoa.
Oh, and see, this is why. No. I want to screenshot those two faces.
Okay,
y'all just
I need to clarify. I need to clarify. I'm about to clarify my own fucking face, Jeffrey. The part-time at Chipotle means you can't even take care of yourself. So here's the thing, right? And look at Jeffrey got quiet. We're not saying find a homeless man. We're saying if you can pay your bills and survive and only have $150 every week, should you date? If you work at part-time at Chipotle, you only got $150 to begin with. Like, I there has to be levels to this where we're being honest.
I mean, they could be living in affordable housing, so they might be fine, but that mean they shouldn't try to talk to y'all. Like,
okay,
Jeffrey, they think you are Latasha and Blue. They think y'all are drop dead gorgeous. They want to get to know y'all.
Oh, my indoor plumbing and my heating and my
they're clean. Listen, wherever they live in, it has a shower, so they are clean. They have that one or two outfits. They look nice, and their friend, I've invited them out to, I don't know, a networking event. And well, Latasha, you are taken, but Blue, you are single. And they are really, and they want to really like, Jeff, who's Blue? And I'm like, you know what? Blue, this is my friend so-and-so. And if I'm a vouch for somebody, that means they're a good person.
You are describing a homeless man. You're describing a homeless man.
Financially, right now, they're not in the best place, but they got dreams.
You took the bar and you like gypped it under the bed. I want you to bring the bar back up. We're not saying people who are transient and looking for housing. Okay.
I didn't say he was transient. He got a job.
No, part-time at Chipotle. Like, it's not even full-time. If you say he works at Chipotle,
but it's part-time because he's an aspiring actor, so he needs to be able to audition.
That sounds okay. That's homeless. So I need you to understand. So Jeffrey, I'm going to say this.
So Blue has just cut off. So listen, if you are,
I'm okay with that.
She is not interested.
So here's the thing. I don't want you to be an extra bill for me when we're dating, right? So
he ain't let me pay the bill.
He's gonna ask somebody because he's not making enough. I need you to be able to survive.
He's
right?
surviving.
No, he's not. So he's holding on by a thread and hoping to find a sugar mama.
That's
I
about,
no, because I've met the parts of my Chipotle nigga, and they be fine and tall and skinny with big penises, and then they in your house. So that's why I was triggered. I've done this, Jeffrey. So this is not me like speaking from theory. What I'm saying is, if a man is or a woman, take gender out of it, somebody who's in survival mode, there is an opportunism that comes from being hungry. That's just human nature. When you can't eat, when you just eating Chipotle burritos, whatever's left over at the end of the night, because you can barely survive the basics. I actually think if you can't get the basics, then dating and courting, you can't afford it. Like, because you need to figure out how to live, right? But I'm talking about if you're someone who's a regular job, you can pay your bills, but you only have a couple $100 left over every week. That's when the conversation is, hey, I can't afford opulence, but if I find somebody who, to Latasha's point, and to what I thought was your point, Jeffrey, before you started wilding, like I find somebody who within modest means I can still court without breaking the bank. My question was, would you, if you after you paid your bills, all of your bills, not the public assistance, would you date if you had $150 left over every week for dating and that was it? If you can't even get your bills paid, you are already at a deficit. And for me, as an abundant bitch, if you're at a deficit, I actually don't think it's fair for you to date someone like me, because you're gonna feel insecure or feel some kind of way when I explain to you that I'm not paying your light bill, because I'm not. So I don't want somebody who needs public assistance to the point of I'm being seen as a meal ticket. Does that make sense, guys? Because there are some people back in the 90s, they were doing that Build-A-Bear shit. Well, I'll just find me a
yeah.
sexy nigga who just came out of jail and I'll clean him up and I'll make him a man out of him. And then he leaves you once he's back on his feet.
But
I'm not
I was gonna say,
advocating
I
for that.
think with it, that does sound like
That's a
someone who's
Tyler Perry
coming.
film, Jeffrey. It's a Tyler
That sounds
Perry
like
film.
somebody that's coming to you as an opportunist. I'm talking about somebody who just genuinely, very purely, and they
He's
like
hungry.
right now. Yeah, right now, but that tomorrow, that don't mean his situation today is gonna be his tomorrow's situation.
So can you answer the question before you turn this into a Tyler Perry film?
Oh wait, somebody had $150.
If you could pay your bills and you were not transient, so you were a working person and you just had 150, would you still date?
Would I still date?
Yeah.
I mean, I can listen. I can make a date night.
Jefferson said, "I'm pretty. They gonna come over here."
I can no. I listen. I'm creative. Oh yeah. I mean, I will if I'm really actually like seeing somebody I'm vibing with. Then yeah, I sure would. Yeah.
How about you, Lulu? If you met a man who only had $150, would you date him every week?
I think at my big age, probably not. And I kind of believe.
I love your honesty.
Wait. I thought the question was, would you, if I was the person with the $150, not
you're a man, yes.
So it's different for me. How come I can't be getting courted by somebody that's making $150?
You're
versed. You already told us you were versed. We're not versed. I'm respecting everybody's titles.
The question changed for Latasha.
No, the question didn't change. Latasha's a femme. I'm a femme, and you're versed. And so I'm catering the questions to everybody's acknowledged.
Are you, me, and Latasha?
I'm not averse.
Making the buck. What? You ain't.
I'm not averse.
You didn't hear my question.
Okay.
Are you, me, and Latasha the ones on the lower financial trying to date, or are we being courted by someone on the lower financial trying to date us?
So
I feel like that can be the same question for all of us across the board.
Of all the times for you to fight for equality, friend, this is it, Mr. Yes. Verse.
Okay. Listen, better late than never.
You're a verse. So I said, well, Jeffrey courts and gets courted, so that's cute for him. I'm a femme who, after years of being the sugar mama, am tired, and I would like to be courted in a more old-fashioned way. And so for me, I would be asking the other person, if you have $150, would I date you? Because I'm no longer spitting the bill on men, because I've done it a lot trying to be a modern woman and got played. People played in my face. And so I am in my position right now where I have paid for enough dinners for enough men that if I never picked up another tab, I would still probably be ahead. So no, I'm not asking that question to myself. And also too, I really do think that you need to be honest about what kind of woman you are. There's some women who they want dick so bad, they'll pay for it if they got to. Like, nigga, I don't care if I have to court you. Come here, I need me a man, I need a warm body. And I don't have a problem with that. That's how you live. If it works for you, it works for you. For me, I want a man who's going to court me because I did the courting. I tried to be modern in that way, and I don't like my results. Not because I'm judging it. I don't like the results that I got when I was courting men. I didn't enjoy it. So it wouldn't matter how much I made because you courted me, nigga. Like, and mind you, the reason why I want somebody to court me is because I'm naturally very generous. And so if I'm dating somebody, the minute they invest in me, I already want to give them the world. I'm about to buy them a short set. So they're going to get it back tenfold, but I need to see a man put in the effort first, because whenever I put the effort in first, I get used. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes,
Am I
I would
making
just like
sense?
to be asked if I would date someone who's courting me with the $150
Okay,
versus
Jeffrey,
me being the one with the $150.
you said you were versed. I was trying to respect it. Okay, so Jeff, would you date somebody who only had $150 to
You
court
said
you?
that. You said that.
Last week you said you were versed like 6 times.
You said it.
And
You
and
said
then
it.
you said yes, and you co-signed. The people saw you, Jeffrey.
Would I date somebody that was again, yes, and I would go on. I would take the date. I would go on a date.
For $150.
Yeah, you could do a lot with $150
You
if
would
you're creative.
I actually think you could too. Lulu
Yeah, if
said
you're
at her
creative,
big
yeah.
age. So we interrupted Lulu. So Lulu, at your big age, you would not do it and explain to people why. There's no wrong answers, to be honest.
I and even if people don't agree with me, I'm comfortable with that. Like,
I don't care.
yeah, I really don't, because like if you and I think that you made an excellent point, Blue. It's just like, I'm not telling you're not going on here talking about men need to do this and da da da. You're like, based on my experience of how I have lived my life, this is the result that I've gotten from that action I've taken, and based on that experience, I'm changing some things because I'm evolving as a person.
Yeah.
Because I like to have a different type of relationship. So I personally, I'm not even gonna lie, I have not dated a ton of men who did not have means. I'm not gonna lie. For the most part, they usually are pretty well off.
You better flex, bitch. She's like, I'm a bad bitch.
No, I don't know. It just worked out that way.
No, own it, girl. Don't backtrack. Be like, I'm a bad bitch. I've been dating affluent niggas. Just say it with your chest.
But it's not like even something that I actively seek, because it may be like how you were saying, like, oh, men be like, oh, I don't want to date her. She probably wants too much or da 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 da. But like, I need somebody. I think that also, I just like to not be in charge in general. Like, I don't want to be in charge. I need somebody to figure out what's going on, where we going, what we doing. And I don't want to be like, oh, is this a place that we could afford? Or are you okay? Or, you know what I mean? And like, I want him to be in control. Like, y'all seen that thing? It's like Whitley Gilbert and Dwayne, and he was like, oh, he was like, you want a rich man? And she was like, I want somebody who's enterprising, smart, driven, focused, and all these things. And he was like, so you wouldn't date him if he's poor? And I was like, that man's never poor. And so I kind of feel like that for me, like the type of men that I like, they always have money because they have those specific types of things. Now, granted, I've been in a situation I was with one of my exes where he was very, very successful, and he had like some bad things happen. And he was down, and I loaned him money that I never got back because he had for so long that I was like, okay. And I thought I was going to get it back, but I did not. But the point I'm trying to make is, I feel the same way with you, Blue. Like, if you hold me down and we have this thing, like, I'm never going to leave you hanging dry and be like, oh, well, sucks to be you. But you have to put an effort initially. I have to see that you are actually invested. And I think a lot of times with men, not all the time, sometimes money is like the easiest way for them to show that they are invested in you. Now, with that being said, and I think we touched on this before, I don't think that there's anything wrong with when you first meet a dude, if he wants to take you to coffee or he wants to take you to, you know, just have a drink or whatever. He doesn't have to take you to Nobu, because he's figure out if he likes you and if you like him. And dating can get expensive, especially if you're doing one-off Nobu dates and you're like, I hung out with this girl, I was stuck with her for 2 hours, I was uninterested after 15-20 minutes. And you as a woman could also be uninterested after 20 minutes. So I personally, and I have friends who don't believe in that, but I'm like, I don't think there's anything wrong, because if you guys are both feeling each other, you can definitely go to Cheesecake Factory next time or wherever, you know what I mean? But like, and I think that a lot of times men bristle at this, because that I think a lot of times, and I don't think this is true. That's why I think she probably didn't ask you for both ways, Jeff, because I feel like it doesn't necessarily work the same. Because, and Blue, we talked about this too, is like the currency is just different. Women want stability and men want something attractive that they want to have sex with. So
that's why I was joking about you being pretty, Jeffrey. Like, for me, because you're a man and you're dating other men and you're a pretty man, it's just a very different dance. Nigga, you know you're pretty. Shut up.
But no, to your point, also, Latasha, I would take the date, but I'm not gonna play the long game. If you ain't coming out of that 150, zone in a good maybe 3 months.
Oh damn, he's on probation for 90 days, like work.
Maybe 3. I might give 3 if the first date, to Latasha's point, the first date goes good and I'm actually interested. Yeah, if you're not showing no signs like, oh, you finna come up out of there, you're trying to actively come up out of there, like this is just where I met you, this is your situation, and you will do better. I'm not gonna stick around, but I will take the date with somebody who is in a potentially better financial situation, than preferred.
I love the point that Lulu made about the first date. Everybody's talking about the first date. I actually don't think the first date's the most important. I think the second date is. I think
hate
that
first date.
yeah, I think the second date's more important because the first date, I do think coffee or drinks or something light for the first date makes sense because I need to sniff you out just to make sure if you're somebody I want to invest in. I don't give a shit about that. What I care about is we had the first date. We had the coffee. We had the drinks. We had the pastries, whatever the hell we did. We took the walk around the park or whatever. You talk to me, you sniff me out. Now, do you feel like I'm someone that you want to put some effort into planning something based on what you saw of me? So for me, I'm actually not, I care about the first date, girl. I actually think the first date is like a rough draft. I care about the second date because now that you've picked my brain and spent time with me and decided to see me a second time, that's when I see how much value and investment you're putting into me. So I'm actually a second date girl. I actually don't, you could spend $20 on the first date. I'm watching the second date because now you're like, oh, I told you I love going to the movies. I told you I love art. I told you I love X, Y, and Z. Does any of that show up in how you treat me the next time I see you? Does that make sense, guys? I hear everybody talking about the first date, and I'm like, am I weird? I gauge things more off the second date.
But see, and to your point, I'm gonna do because obviously, if we're going on a date, we probably had some sort of conversation. You probably told me a little bit of your interest. I'm going to incorporate that into the first date. Like, I'm gonna make sure, like, oh, she likes art. The first date will probably be at like an art gallery or something in that realm where it's like to let you know also I'm paying attention. Like,
well, you're a Taurus. So here's the thing: we love romance and we love courtship. I come guns and blazing the minute you set eyes on me. Okay, don't let me find out that you like yellow Tic Tacs and you mention it on your stories. I'm showing up with a bucket of yellow Tic Tacs and roses, right?
Everything.
But here's the thing, though. That's one thing
I wear a yellow Tic Tac out costume, a onesie dressed like a Tic Tac.
That's the thing about being a super romantic person. I had to pull that back because people were getting scared. They're like, wow, like I just met you. Why are you being so romantic? I was like, because I like romance. What the fuck? But I realized that not everybody has it like that, and some people need to warm up. So what I've taught myself is to give grace for the first date for those who are not as into romance as Jeffrey and I. But by the second date, though, if I tell you I like green M&Ms, or I tell you that I want to see the new Basquiat exhibit, or I tell you that I don't like lactose, and you take me to a creamery and we make cows, I'm gonna be like, oh, you don't like me, friend. You didn't listen to shit I said. The second date is where my grace runs out because the first date, if you're like me, you're gonna want to be amazing on the first date. But if you're not like me, by the second date, there's no more excuses, bro. You just don't care.
Yeah,
you just don't care about me. Lulu, which date do you think really matters? Because everybody talks about the third date is when you're supposed to sleep with people, but child, I don't know. Child, we're hoes, Jeffrey. Okay, we do what we feel. The regular people wait till 3.
Preliminary to get a first date. No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, you talking to Jeffrey? You know, that first date going well. It's already at his house. He told you that.
Guys, I once had sex with somebody the night before the first date. We were supposed to have our first date on Saturday, and I got a text saying, "Hey, I'm in your neighborhood on Friday." And it was like late Friday, and I had just been drinking tequila. Tequila makes me friendly, guys. And he came to hang out, even though we had dinner planned the next night. We had sex before the first date, and I'm convinced that ruined our relationship. He could not get past the fact that he'd already got what he wanted, and he was just checked out the whole entire first date. I didn't realize that was a thing, but there's some people. I'm not one of those people. There's some people that if they don't feel like they have to work for it, they almost get like lazy. They're like, "Oh, I wanted to chase, but you already gave me an appetizer." Has that ever happened to you?
Thing.
Not me.
Not for Jeff. I was about to say, not for Jeff. Not for Jeff. But...
I promise y'all, these people gonna think I did not grow up with values and a family, and I was just
you did. You just still came out of hell. I mean, it's okay. Look, you're the sex positive advocate. You are the Blanche Devereaux of this year's establishment. Wait, am I Rose? Wait.
Sophia.
I'm not Sophia. I'm a Rose Sophia hybrid because I'm a little.
You are the
simple.
wise one.
I'm wise, but I'm also a little simple. Yeah, right.
Because it is every time it's almost like when Blue will be talking and then she'll go off into a picture. It's Sicily, 1922. I've been here and done this.
Do you want to know the test, Jeffrey? When you're not in the room, I'm the Blanche. You outhold me. Like I'm usually the Blanche, but I met my match. I was like, Jeffrey could have it. I'll be Sophia. That means Lulu.
So I'm
You're Dorothy. You're the tall one.
Dorothy.
I knew it.
You're the sensible one.
You're always talking about I'm a big woman. I mean, that's Dorothy.
Dorothy is a big woman. So
Dorothy's like, I'm a tall woman. I need a man who's 7 feet.
Dorothy,
Somebody hit me up and said that they were triggered that you said that 6'2" was your bottom height.
but
She said 6 feet. I thought you said 6 feet.
No, she said 6'2".
Oh, I thought she said 6 feet was the bottom.
She said she said she might eat 6'2". 6 feet, but it's really 6'2" for her.
But it's just like, if I have any heel on, I'm gonna be taller than you. And in my experience, that makes a lot of men more uncomfortable than it makes me uncomfortable because I'm used to being tall. So like, if you're a 6 feet man, 6'1", you're also used to being tall. So if I'm coming up to you and I look like I could back you down in the paint, it's probably gonna make you feel away.
Yeah, she like, bitch stole my look because that was supposed to, yeah, that's very true. I also want to clarify for somebody else who y'all be DMing me a lot. I don't know why I feel so accessible to y'all, but y'all need to chill. Someone said, Lord, I can't believe you said that you don't date short or broke men. I did not say that. I said that I don't like short broke men, like the combination.
Because they're mean.
Yeah,
they're mean, right? That's
because they're mean. Thank you for quoting me properly.
All these little Geppettos running around here.
I did not say I don't date short or broke men. I said I don't date short broke men. Because I fell in love with this little mean motherfucker. He was so mean with his fine little ass. He was fine too. I was hoping him being fine, but it didn't help. Okay, because my R&B singers are fine and short, but they're not broke. So there's that. And again, I want to explain to you guys. My daddy was 5'4". So that's why I gave short men a chance. And what I've recognized, I sat with that statement, like, was that problematic? I was like, no, I stand on it. When a man is short and rich, he can stand on his money. When a man is fine and still working on his finances, he know he fine. He know all he gotta do is put on a suit or some gray sweatpants and exfoliate and go outside, and somebody gonna still want to be his sugar mama, right? So a man who can still figure out a way to feel good about himself is a better investment for me. But if you are both short and broke, the probability of you just being mad all the time, to me, skyrockets. And I'm speaking from experience. So it's not about me judging you. It's about my safety. Just wanted to clarify that for the people.
And also, another thing that people don't understand, and a lot of men, I feel like, don't understand because they probably haven't even been in this situation. Like, they always get mad about women who saying they want a man who has more money than them. But a lot of men do not even want women who make more money than them. It's going to make them insecure. They're going to feel like she got something up on me, and then they're going to take it out on you. Then they're going to cheat on you because they want to feel good because they're not the breadwinner in the situation. So like, it sounds good in theory when these men say that, but I'm like, you really don't want that. Like, you don't, just for your own mental.
You do not want a submissive breadwinner.
I don't think nobody knows what they want.
Wait a minute, Jeffrey.
It's always so many, like, or I just, also learning us as people, though, we grow and change. Every 5 to 7 years, our wants, needs, and desires, they change. I feel like at that point in time, maybe that is what you wanted, and now these 5 or 7 years have passed, and now you don't want that. You want something else.
I don't want his short mean ass. I never wanted that, Jeffrey.
At one point, you were fine dating short men, and then you met the short mean one, and now you're like, I don't want short men. So that's why I was like, we don't know what we want until we're faced with it, and you're like, you know what, I don't want that, or I do want this.
I do know what I want now, though. I'm so clear.
You don't want a short mean man.
No, that's what I don't. I don't want a short mean man. I don't.
Okay? That's what you're gonna end up with.
No, don't do that. Because I'll pray something on you too, and it's different when I put an X, Jeffrey. Don't do that.
Next Thanksgiving, Blue come
over. No. Next Thanksgiving. Hey y'all. Okay, so next Thanksgiving you can show up with somebody who has $150 forever. How about that? We're doing Hex. Okay, watch your mouth. Words mean things, friend.
All right. I ain't say your man was broke.
No. If my man is short, your man's gonna be broke forever. How about that? Okay, so we're even. It's not so fun when it's coming back.
That's why I'm gonna stay with City Girls up.
You know what? I love this episode, even though I don't know what the hell happened. This episode was supposed to be called "Did Me Too Skip Hip Hop?" I feel like we should call it Short Mean Niggas. City Girls Up actually should be the name. You guys, what Jeffrey said, because I could feel there's something on the tip of your tongue.
Go ahead.
Yeah, our problematic king. Jeffrey be trying to, he be like, damn, how much do I not want to be able to leave the house? How canceled can I afford to be and still book these clients? Is there anything that you guys want to promote or shout out before we wrap up for today's show? Is there anything you want to share with the audience that you're doing? Anything of interest?
You know what? This week, not so much. I actually, this week, and over the Thanksgiving break, was honestly just thinking about what is it business-wise I need to and want to do different in 2024. I want to get a head start on that because 2023 has been great. I have enjoyed it. I've learned a lot. I've done a lot. I've made a lot. Not in the $150 range. But 2024 is like, we got to get better. We got to get better. We got to do more and more. So I've really just been thinking about what I want my goal for my business to be for.
Well, I love that because the whole December 18th episode is about what we want for 2024. So I love that you've already gotten a head start. So when the episode comes out, friend, I can't wait to hear your list. Because, by the way, for those who are listening, December 18th, it's going to be the last episode that we tape. I think it comes out the 19th or the 20th. And we're going to be doing emotional inventory of this year. So Lulu and Jeff already be thinking about that.
Damn,
I've been doing
a lot of homework, girl. Wait, you gotta
homework. Jeffrey, I do all the itineraries by myself. What's the homework?
Did you not see all the baggage you pulled out of my car? You want me to do all that work and give you my bid? No, just playing.
I want to hear on this the end of December. I cannot wait to hear what you're manifesting because now we get to have a time capsule and go back and see how much of that came true. And Lulu, is there anything that you want to shout out that you're doing that you're excited about?
I'm going to be traveling like the last 2 or 3 weeks of the year. So I'm excited about that. They're going to see my family again. And I'm also going to be spending some time in Mexico, but I really want to, I kind of feel like Jeff, like maybe get a jump start on the year and figure out like what direction I would like to go in and goals that I have, things that I want to focus on. But yeah, like 2023 was pretty good. And like, I'm pleased with myself and the way things happen. So I'm just excited for next year too.
We're talking about getting a head start, guys. One of the things that Jeff, Lulu, and I all have in common is we would like this podcast to make a profit. So please make sure that if you've been enjoying it and listening to it, that you rate it, you subscribe it, you listen to it on Apple, Spotify, thumbs up on YouTube. Don't just listen for free. You pay us with engagement. That it takes you half a second to hit the like button. It takes you half a second to subscribe. Once again, only 1/10 of our listeners are actually hitting that button. So if we're trying to get payment so we can be back in the studio, we need you to engage so that the people who are going to invest in us recognize that you actually exist and you're not just lurking in the shadows. Jeffrey still wants a black car to pick him up to take him to the studio.
We like being in the studio. Y'all like seeing us in the studio. That was, we got a lot of engagement there.
Yeah. So the studio, it's night and day when we're in the studio, guys. So I need you to understand that we want you to engage so that we can get back to giving you the optics that you want because they cost money. For me, I think I just still want to shout out that the OTS On That Shift workshop is taking place in January. That's OTS24.eventbrite.com. It's an amazing class. We do it once a week, every Wednesday for 2 hours. We do it live on Zoom. So for those of you who want to talk to me so damn much in my DMs, you could actually talk to me in person if you just pay for it. And Jeffrey and Lulu, you guys are still invited to join the class. It has been life altering. I'm not just saying that because I teach it, because I take it every time I teach it. And there've been so many times that I've been in the middle of a toxic situation and the class that I'm in happens to be about that situation. It's pulled me out. So if you guys ever want to join us, you have a free invite to just jump in. And also for anybody who's listening in the month of November, it is 20% off in November because it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I don't know what the names of the holidays are. I just know that November means everything has to be on a discount. I love you guys. I have been potting and creating content for several hours. Once again, these Mondays are getting busy. So we're going to let you go. Lulu and Jeff, drop your stats one more time so they know where to find you and stalk you.
Find me everywhere at Jeffro5, Jefro 5. And yeah.
Lulu?
On Instagram, LU_LU19.
And I am still at Blue Centric. And if you go to Blue Centric, you'll find Jeff and Lulu. They're right there. All right. We love you guys. And I'm going to take a nap. I adore you. This episode was another one for the books.
Which one of y'all finna take a cold shower and come get in the bed?
Oh my God. Wow. Wow. Okay. You know what? On that note, bye. I love y'all.